tilapia and bass were the most heavily affected. Crops most seriously affected are peanuts, pumpkins, tomatoes, guava, and watermelon. Uber, the ride-sharing company that returned to Taiwan last year, stresses today that it is not trying to compete with local taxis. Instead, it wants to create more opportunities. Uber's chief operating officer, Barney Harford, who's currently visiting Taipei, says his company's plan for Taiwan includes creating new transportation solutions using big data and cultivating more talent in artificial intelligence and self-driving technology. He says his company is also seeking closer cooperation with Taiwan's transportation hardware manufacturers. Under the plan, Taipei will soon join other 20 cities in the world for the Uber Movement program, which uses big data to help city governments and urban planners plan their transportation strategies. The company is also hoping that more local taxis can use the Uber platform to reduce their time on the road without a customer. And from the Asian Games in Jakarta, Taiwan has now bagged a total of 45 gold medals, with 13 gold, 13 silver, and 19 bronze, and is still sitting 6th overall in the medals table. The latest additions are the Chinese Taipei badminton team's first ever gold medal, taken by Tai Zuying in women's singles, and the team's first silver medal from Zhou Tianchen in the men's singles. In international news, UK Prime Minister Theresa May arrived in South Africa, promising Britain's investment in Africa will rise as it leaves the EU. She'll also visit Nigeria and Kenya on her 4-day African tour. May says she wants the UK to become the biggest investor in Africa of the G7 group of nations by the year 2022. It's the first visit to sub-Saharan Africa by a UK leader since 2013. UK correspondent Ollie Barrett says Theresa May sees significant opportunity in Africa.
Theresa May certainly viewing South Africa as very important indeed to future British trading plans and business ties and economic links within the context of viewing the continent of Africa as incredibly important to the future of the global economy as well. All of this, of course, is in the context of Brexit and Theresa May wanting to show that Britain is going to be that oft-quoted global Britain as it leaves the European Union, that it's not hunkering down, withdrawing into itself as it leaves the EU, but that actually it's an opportunity to look further afield.
That was Ollie Barrett. A Japanese man released by North Korea after being accused of a crime arrived in Beijing from Pyongyang today and is expected to return home. Tomoyuki Sugimoto had been in North Korean custody for an investigation into an unspecified crime, but the North's official news agency now says the country decided to be lenient and expel him for humanitarian reasons. Japanese media quoted a Japanese diplomat as confirming the man's identity and describing his health as not bad. He is expected to return home later today. Japan's chief cabinet secretary Yoshihide Suga says he could not comment because of the nature of the matter. He only said that protection of Japanese officials is the country's biggest responsibility. Earlier reports say Sugimoto was believed to be a videographer and was arrested in the North's western port city of Nampo, where North Korea may have suspected him of filming a military facility. And now back here in Taiwan and looking at the weather across the island this afternoon, we can expect partly cloudy to cloudy skies with showers or thunderstorms in all regions. Extremely torrential rain alerts are in effect for Kaohsiung and Pingtung. Extremely heavy rain warnings have been issued for Yilan, Tainan, Taidong, and Penghu, while heavy rain alerts are in effect for Jiayi and Yunling, and in the north, Taipei, New Taipei, Keelung, Taoyuan, Hsinchu, and Miaoli. Current temperatures now 28 degrees in Taipei and Taichung, 25 degrees in Kaohsiung, and 26 degrees in Hualien. That was the ICRT News at 4 with me, Nancy Sun.
以上 ICRT 整点新闻。
Wait, I will. Oh, yes, is it working?
Press program?
Did I do it right this time?
Press program?
Yes, I did. I did press program.
Oh,
Okay, I think it's working.
I am not in the room.
You are not in the list, Leslie.
Just give people.
Possibly because I unfriended you. Or I blocked you somehow because you're so irritating. Good job. Thank you. Good job as in I got the thing to work, right? So welcome to the ICRT Web News Hour. Hopefully you can all hear sound now. So this is the part of the news segment where at 4 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you join me in the studio and then you watch me awkwardly read the news. And then afterwards, we talk a little bit about some of the major news stories for the day in both Taiwan news and in international news. Wait, I don't think I need this anymore. I think I can hear myself talk still. Okay. Anyway, so Leslie should be joining us shortly.
Very shortly.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, so he's going to join us on the other side of the screen, and he's cents.
My 2 cents.
Your 2 cents. Your worthless 2 cents.
Excuse me.
Hi.
Excuse me.
Su Zhiwen. Yeah, go metal, go. Okay. Wait, Liao Anting, are you perchance related to Leslie Liao?
No.
Wang Yiqing, hi. Chen Zhao.
Let me see.
Okay, Leslie, you read these Chinese.
Let's see. Chen Xiaoru, hello. Eddie Xu, hello. Oh, hello, Leslie, you beautiful man.
Oh, God. Wow.
I'm just kidding. Okay. So
okay.
let's talk news. Lots been happening over the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
But most notably, what's going on, Nancy?
Well, the biggest, I mean, there's a lot of big news happening in Taiwan, but one of the major stories that we're dealing with today is the continued rain, continued precipitation in Kaohsiung. It's leading, and in northern Taiwan.
Yes.
It's leading to all kinds of problems, but a special note is Kaohsiung today has canceled work and class because of the rain and the flooding. Hi, Dennis. Hi, Eddie. Hi. And so agricultural losses, that's always going to come after like a typhoon or a major, earthquake or whatever. So the latest update, actually, I saw a ticker going by and I couldn't catch it fast enough.
Yeah.
But I saw a ticker going by as I was reading the 4 o'clock news, and the news that I was reading said 650 million NT, and now it's been confirmed to be over 655 million NT.
Okay.
So the major agricultural losses, the Council of Agriculture says Jiayi was the worst.
Jiayi was the worst.
Yeah. And this is coming at a time that's a little bit awkward because it's in the run-up to the Full Moon Festival or Mid-Autumn Festival. So a lot of people are buying food, making preserves, preparing for big dinners or big family reunions. And so this is an awkward time.
Yeah.
Actually, earlier this morning, we just said it was 580 million NT. So it's going up.
So
fast.
It's going up. Over the past few weeks, the rain has been very, very strong, very ridiculous. I, at one point, what is it? They call it a tropical depression?
It's a tropical depression.
So it wasn't a typhoon.
No, but it was huge, and it just kept hovering and hovering over Taiwan.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate.
I think it's still here because there's still many clouds.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of clouds, especially here in Taipei.
Right.
And the rain, even when I was in Taichung over the weekend on Saturday, it got really, really bad.
Right.
And I think we're shielded from it because we're up here in Taipei.
Yeah.
But if you go down south, I was in Taichung until maybe 4 o'clock, and we drove. Me and my brother, we drove back up to Taipei, and what happened was it was raining really hard. At first, it was like cloudy, but it was raining super hard in Taichung by the time we left. And I was driving on, I think at that time I was at Guodao Sanhao, so the highway number 3. Yeah. And I could barely see maybe 3 meters in front of me.
That's so dangerous.
Yeah.
Joe Shu says it's heavy rain. Excuse me, it's heavy rain outside now. Where are you, Joe? You're in Taipei.
Yeah.
Liao Anting says the huge rain contributes to numerous disasters. That is so true. So speaking of the numerous disasters, there was a road collapse in Kaohsiung today, heading out to Shoushan Zoo. So it's like a section of the road going up to Wanshou Bridge. It like caved in on itself, so there's a big hole there.
Yeah.
Apparently it's nobody was hurt. There were no vehicles damaged, but it's caused some traffic delays, and they're expecting, the roadways to be
Eddie
unstable.
is telling us Jiayi Dongshi is the worst, and Jiushu is in Kaohsiung, so he's getting the worst of it, definitely.
Jeez,
and if you see some of the footage in Kaohsiung, like all these things are submerged, like traffic, parking lots, a bunch of these cars, they're all underwater. And Jane was she was pretty funny this morning. She was just like, don't buy a secondhand car anytime soon.
Yeah.
Because what happens is these cars get water damage and a lot of people want to sell them.
Yeah.
And which kind of
It's
not, it's not ideal.
Ethical, yes.
Yeah.
Actually, the latest numbers, Kaohsiung, Fengshan, and Xinxing district are the worst. They've received, in the past 24 hours, they've received over 350 millimeters of rain. It's close to 400 now. Fengshan looks like it's the worst.
So they said we lost $307 million worth of livestock and milkfish, which is simuyu.
Yes.
Tilapia, which is diaoyu.
Well done.
And bass, which is luyu.
Yeah. You know your fish, Leslie.
I love sushi. Well, you can't eat these things as sushi. But they lost 307 million NT worth of livestock. Now, Nancy, how does rain damage fish?
Well, a lot of these fish are either freshwater fish or, saltwater fish. And then when the rain comes, you get overflooding rivers, you get overflooding ponds, and then the holding tanks for these fish are either damaged or flooded in, or they get flushed out. So causes deaths that way.
So a bunch of fish just got flushed out to the rivers?
Yeah, possibly. Or they're saltwater
they're
fish. Free? And the influx of fresh water kills them.
Yes.
It could. So unfortunately, that has caused a lot of damage.
Yeah.
The cabinet has already been speaking up about potential price fluctuations.
But hasn't the Xingzhenyuan been saying that they're going to give 20,000 NT to every family that was affected?
Ooh, but how do they determine who's affected?
Just to, I guess you need to file claims or stuff like that.
Right.
But 20,000, I don't know if that's going to make anything better. Yeah, 2万块, 2万元 to every family. That's what I think Lai Ching-te said maybe 2 days ago before this got really bad.
Right. I think it also depends on, there must be a scale. Usually there's a scale for like if you report this much damage or if you're however much affected, then you get whatever the amount is.
Yeah. And then the crops, okay, so 307 million NT worth of livestock, right?
Yeah.
So that leaves $343 million left if we're taking a 650 million.
Leonard Harrison says, "I am affected." Okay.
I mean, if you're,
if you are seriously affected, that's a terrible thing.
Sorry.
Can't tell he's joking right now.
So crops seriously most affected are peanuts, pumpkins, tomatoes, guava, and watermelon.
Yeah, and we did in this story we didn't mention other livestock, like on land livestock, but there's a lot of like chickens and ducks and geese affected as well. So like I said, like coming up to the Mid-Autumn Festival, this is kind of, not a great time. But the cabinet has come out and said that they would be instilling price freezes on liquid natural gas, LNG, and also on propane. So people who use that to cook, or restaurants who use that, or those little food stalls that use that, they won't be taking that, at least for that section, they won't be taking too much of a price hit or a cost.
So Jenlin Mac brings up a good point. They're saying 20,000 NT isn't enough for repairing, and I agree with that, right? Because if you look at the extent of this damage, and if you look at the extent of needing to pump out the water out of your house, or waiting for the flood to recede, and all that water damage to your house, maybe even if you're on the first floor to the foundation, or to load-bearing stuff, water damage, especially down in Kaohsiung, where it's really kind of dry, kind of humid sometimes. All that wrecks the wood. It wrecks the wood.
It does, and so you're looking at potential home repairs. But I do feel like the government announcement that the premier made was, it hasn't been updated, and I feel like the government will be looking at what the end result is, and they will be modifying their policy or their plan for this situation.
Is there any more flooding in these southern areas?
Pingdong
is still flooding.
Pingdong is also flooding. Actually, a while earlier, we got an update. Pingdong, there's still offices and schools are still open in Pingdong today, except in Chunri Township, where class and work is canceled because they're getting a lot of flooding. People who are living in the mountainous areas in Pingdong, they've been evacuated. So that is also an area of concern. Dennis Tai says they need water pump rather than money, I believe.
So he's saying they better pump the money out rather than pump more money into the people, which is, I mean,
pump the water out. Yeah,
I guess so. I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. The water is going to be the first and foremost issue, absolutely at this juncture, right? But at the same time, $20,000 to repair is just. Ugh.
And I was speaking with Stevie G about this, like our morning DJ earlier, and he, from his personal experience, he said he bought a water pump like as soon as his home was flooded on the first floor and the basement. He went out like immediately and bought a water pump, and when he bought it, it was 3,000 NT, and then by the end of the day, like in the evening, it was 8,000 NT. The same thing.
Yeah.
More than double the price, almost triple the price.
I mean, yeah, standard economics, right? Supply and demand. If demand.
That is so shady.
No. I mean, that's how anything goes.
Right.
That's how anything goes. You want to go buy. I was buying parts for my computers like maybe 3 months ago, and I paid maybe a 50% markup because Bitcoin's a big thing now.
Yeah.
But these people who mine Bitcoin, they buy a whole bunch of these in bulk, so the market doesn't have any. But now that there's more regulation and there's more supply, I would have saved like 5,000 or 6,000 NT if I didn't buy it then.
Don't you just hate that? Leonard Harrison says, "I'm in Seattle where it does rain but no flooding."
Well, welcome to Taiwan Web News. I mean, I understand Seattle does get like what 2 weeks of sun out of the year.
Congratulations. So the Council of Agriculture is also checking produce prices, and they're watching to see if supplies are dwindling, and if supplies are dwindling, they will release the government-held supplies. They say earlier this morning, they say that the damage, even with all of the damage and all of the losses, it only amounts to 0.1% of the national supply of fruits and vegetables. So they're saying, at least as of this morning, it doesn't look like it's going to be a huge impact on just like our regular everyday purchases.
Yeah, so everybody keep an eye out on peanuts, pumpkins, tomatoes, guavas, and watermelons. 花生、南瓜、番茄、芭乐跟那个西瓜都有可能会涨价.
Yeah, a lot of these are things that are grown like on the ground.
Yeah.
Some of these. So.
Okay, let's move on to international news. And our one international news story for today is, wait, really quickly, Yu Feng Qian says, I think health and hygiene issues are going to cause another big problem due to the flooding. Very much so.
Actually, the Department of Health has issued, for each of the cities, they've issued statements, especially for New Taipei and Taichung, because as you know, they're dealing with a dengue cluster infections. And so they're both saying that, of course, we haven't had flooding in New Taipei, less so in Taichung, but all of that rain is going to cause a lot of garbage or debris lying around to hold standing water. And when you have standing water, you have a potential breeding ground for mosquitoes.
Yeah,
they're saying people need to be extra vigilant and need to be, going out there and checking. And just because you check it and you dump out the water doesn't mean the mosquito immediately dies. You have to scrub the sides so that there's no larvae.
Actually, when I was in Taichung on Saturday, there was a lot more mosquitoes than usual. Leonard Harrison, love ICRT, listening for 20 years. Excellent, man. Come to Taiwan, and we'll invite you over to the station.
Yes, thank you. Bai Yue says you can't weigh human life with market value rules. It's like these people are suffering devastation to their homes, and they're dealing with this awful thing, and they have to pay triple the price for something that they need to fix their homes.
Well, the thing is, you got to realize a lot of these people, the people behind selling these things are also people trying to make a livelihood too.
Well, they're making a killing from other people's misery.
They're not making a killing.
I don't know. Triple the price sounds like a lot of money. Okay. Debatable.
Let's move on to North Korea, who has been in the news a lot this year.
Yeah.
And apparently a Japanese man was released by North Korea. And so North Korea took this Japanese man into custody, and they released him today, and they sent him to Beijing.
Yeah, that's right. So apparently, the Japanese government went through the North Korean embassy in Beijing because there is no North Korean embassy in Japan. They don't have official ties.
Right.
So, there was some kind of involvement from China as well. But basically what happened was this guy must have been some kind of correspondent or possibly a reporter, but they're saying he was a videographer, and he was arrested in North Korea, and he was suspected of trying to capture footage of military installments. So
that's dangerous. That's very dangerous to do, and especially in a place
is dangerous in North Korea.
Like North Korea. It's kind of volatile, right?
Yes, a lot of it depends on what the current stance and current approach of North Korea is towards international relations.
A lot of these things on the internet, especially when it comes to North Korea, you know, traveling's a big thing now, that whole wanderlust thing. But you see a lot of people, they post pictures of North Korea and they'll just be like, haha, I wasn't supposed to post this, or I wasn't supposed to take pictures of this. But they got to realize it's a huge security risk. I mean, and we're not even talking about like military installations here. We're talking about maybe, you know, maybe a little bit a rundown roadside,
a facility,
you know, a factory, a facility.
Even, you know, how you talk to people, who you talk to, what they say, what you say, it could, you know, have an effect. And I think we're all thinking of the American college student, Otto Warmbier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 1 month ago. And what happened was he was an American college student and he went to North Korea for he was part of like a tour group. And basically he was arrested or detained by North Korean authorities and they accused him of trying to successfully stealing a propaganda poster. And so he was sentenced to 15 years and he was held until June this year, I think. And then he was repatriated back to the U.S., but when he arrived, he was not in a conscious state. And then he died a few days later after he arrived in the U.S., and doctors in the U.S. said he had brain damage. Now, the question is, how did that happen? North Korea says they have no idea.
I just want to heed some warning to some of our listeners out there, because Taiwan and North Korea has done kind of a tourism push in Taiwan. So there's a travel agency now that offers you different packages to go to sightsee in North Korea. And you know, sightsee all you want, but you got to realize that you got to be careful when you're there. So please do be there. Do be careful when you go, if you do ever go. I'm very curious to go see North Korea too, but I don't think I could behave myself. So
you can't even behave yourself in the office, Leslie. So you know, just not a good idea.
Yep.
Okay. Back to the weather.
Yes.
Back to the weather. So we are going to be dealing with, you know, showers or intermittent showers or heavy downpours or torrential downpours.
How long is it going to last?
What did you say?
Rest.
Okay. I hope you said rest. Okay. It's going to stay until Thursday. The Central Weather Bureau says it looks like we should be having more clear weather starting, you know, sometime on Thursday. The tropical storm, there's another 21st tropical storm. It's called Jebi, Jebi, and it's east of Guam right now. Will not directly affect Taiwan and shouldn't bring too much of a, you know, downpours.
I mean, what, the reservoirs must be filled by this point.
Reservoirs in the south and on outlying islands are all full or overflowing. So no drought in the south.
Really quickly, one last comment. Yu Fang Chen says it's better not to use any portable devices when you visit North Korea. Just embrace the unique experience with your own eyes, and that's very true. I think I travel with too many friends who are too obsessed with taking pictures, Instagramming the pictures and being like, oh, look, I've been here. It's like, look, I don't need proof of your vacation. All right. The only person that needs proof of your vacation is yourself. So enjoy it for what it is. Enjoy it.
Hello, ICRT.
Hello.
Theresa. Yeah. So on that note, we hope everybody in southern Taiwan and wherever you are, you're all okay and not too badly affected. Stay safe.
Everybody, please do stay safe. The rain is gonna it's gonna come and go. Like you said, it's gonna last until when?
Thursday.
Bring an umbrella, rain boots, because wet socks are terrible. Make sure you bring your lunches because you don't want to go outside and get lunch in this rain. Believe me.
Okay, now you're starting to sound like a mom.
You're the mom.
I know, and I'm not even saying all of that.
All right. Let's cut this off here. We're just about out of time. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and join us again Thursday. Bye.